Owning a jet isn't impossible as many people think, but before you get yourself a private jet, it's important to gauge the factors that influence the total cost of owning a private jet. Think ahead to the types of trips you wish to venture out to and also the frequency. Long trips will surely put a deeper hole in your wallet than shorter ones. In today's video, we'll go over the costs and expenses of owning a private jet. Before we get started, please subscribe to our channel. Now sit back and enjoy the video. Accidents may happen. We all know those sinking, unforeseen expenses like a burst tire or a cracked windshield, and it never tends to happen when you're near your home and your local service center. These issues aren't always covered by your insurance, so you can expect to pay cold hard cash for these repairs. Jet tire replacement costs are in the region of $2,000 to $3,000, but this also varies depending on which country you're in and the exact model needed. Windshields, on the other hand, will set you back $45,000 to $70,000, but again, not an area to scrimp on and compromise with quality. A ding to the side of an aircraft is different from the side of a car. When you're traveling at top speed and reliant on minor adjustments and airflow, a small dent could affect your smooth flight. You may not be able to wait until you're home to repair your bodywork, and keep in mind, you may also have to accommodate yourself and your crew while your jet's being repaired. Hopefully, you'd be able to recoup the prices from insurance shortly after all is said and done. Refueling an aircraft is different from topping off your car. $30 isn't enough to get you to your next destination. Most countries have federal aviation regulations that require enough fuel not only to get to your destination safely, but allow for extra just in case you can't land where you're expecting to land and need to fly further. In the USA, for example, that's enough fuel to fly to your intended destination, then enough to get to your declared alternate field, then an extra stash to fly around another 45 minutes at normal cruising speed. So definitely make sure you have enough room on your credit card before pulling up to refuel your Gulfstream G650ER. These thirsty gas guzzlers take a whopping 7,000 gallons to fill, which is able to take you a distance of 7,500 nautical miles of flight. The more popular private jets hold less, but also don't go as far. For instance, the Phenom 300 holds 800 gallons and goes a distance of about 800 nautical miles. Jet fuel, like motor fuel, is priced differently at each station. It varies from $3 to $8 a gallon, so it's hard to be precise. Private jets are not cheap. Can we know the actual cost of the jets? If you want a brand new one out of the box, a popular model will range from $38 to $90 million. It is luxury for sure, but it isn't necessary to have any bells and whistles or upgrades. Planes are similar to cars. They lose a lot of value right off the showroom floor, so if you want a pre-owned one, that varies from $14 to $35 million, maybe even with some awesome added extras already on the plane. But like with any other type of transportation, this is where the outlays begin. Cleaning fees are also part of your cost. You can't take a private jet to a drive-through car wash, so think about the price of cleaning it inside and out between flights. Airports offer valet services, otherwise you can employ your own team to try and do this service for you. Number 13. What is the real total cost of the jet? It's quite hard to get it down into a precise figure, as there are such a large number of models and makes. A non-public jet will cost you around $4 million in annual costs like insurance, maintenance, upkeep, and storage, with a disbursement of about $500,000 to $1 million in proportion to how much you fly. In fact, these are just your annuals. You can splurge on anything from $15 million to $600 million on a non-public jet, then still upgrade it as you like. The plane needs service. Regular services and repairs vary from model to model, but in general, it varies from between $700,000 and $4 million. That's just for service. You need a pilot for your private jet. When you consider owning a non-public jet, I doubt you're thinking of carrying your own luggage, bringing a packed lunch, and pouring your own drinks, meaning you'll need quite a crew to live the mile-high life as lush as you imagined, and airline crews do not come cheap. It's a disruptive lifestyle and requires lots of special safety training compared to your on-ground hotel cleaning. Hospitality servers and pilots also are a commodity, and this is often not something to look for in the bargain bin. The pilot and crew will have your lives in their hands, so employ them wisely. Luckily, you don't require 2 pilots by law, the same way commercial aircraft do. Now, there are 2 more costs related to crew, but we'll cover that later in the video. For now, we'll tell you a mean private jet pilot earns a salary of $120,000 a year, and the average annual take-home of a non-public jet hostess is about $60,000 a year. The plane needs a storage facility. Most millionaires don't prefer to leave their very expensive purchases out in the sun or in the rain. They prefer finding a storage garage or a large place to keep them in. When the airports are bigger and busier, the storage prices get higher. For example, garage storage in Los Angeles may cost you around $160,000 annually. A smaller garage may cost you around $80,000 annually. Or it could be preferable to avoid all of these costs and build your own fully functional airport, just like actor John Travolta and his wife Kelly Presley did in the backyard of their home. You're paying for landing. Fees depend on the weight and the size of the aircraft to maintain the airport's building and runways. In some airports, you may get a free landing if you're refueling there. If you're not refueling there, you'll be paying landing fees, which vary from $100 to $500 each time you land. The fees increase more and more if you're not landing in your own garage. For sure, the bigger and busier airfields may impose more fees due to their bigger area. That's why sometimes you have to get out of your aircraft and travel to another smaller, non-commercial field. The most expensive airport in the world to land at is Haneda International Airport. Every time you land at this airport, you'll pay up to $7,000. That doesn't even include a cup of tea. Crew overnight fees can rack up the bills. Remember the added cost of crew board and lodging if you intend on staying over at your destination? They have to be accommodated, plus the average of $75 per day for his or her out-of-pocket outlays. Overnight fees are over and above their usual day rate or salary, and in the region of $150 to $600 an evening. Plus their accommodations, ground transport, and food costs are all out of your pocket. What is the actual time to buy a jet? Many mixed messages are there about when it makes financial sense to shop for your own jet. It can be great to know your flight is often waiting and prepared for you to take off. Those selling private jets will tell you if you're in the sky for around 200 hours a year, it makes economic sense to buy a jet. But if you speak to aircraft brokers who offer fractional ownership, kind of like a personal jet timeshare, then they'll tell you that it's not until you average 500 hours within the air it's worth buying outright. However, consistent with unbiased experts, the sweet spot is more around 240 hours spent airborne to make a personal jet an affordable investment. De-icing a jet is integral. The pilot shouldn't take off if they feel something is not right with the plane. Removing ice from the plane may be an incredible cost, and fortunately, most airports worldwide offer this service, but it could cost a lot. For sure, costs vary from airport to airport. Each time you take off or land, you're facing airport taxes. These taxes are imposed by the government and municipalities, and therefore the company liable for running the airport. Then there are usually government-imposed taxes calculated per passenger on board. Once you enter and exit, you might pay permits, taxes, and plenty of airports also charge a tourist tax. Here are some examples. Flying from Miami to Rio de Janeiro, your trip taxes are international head tax at $18 per person on board, domestic segment fees of $420 per person, and that's not counting all the other taxes and rates that we mentioned once you land. You need insurance for your aircraft. You don't have to only make sure your aircraft is insured against all accidental loss or damage, but you also have to cover your crew, passengers, and general public liability. On the Cessna 172, you'll pay about $50,000 per year. All around, insurance rates increase with the plane's age and flight hours. The larger the plane and the greater the payload, the higher the premium will go. Hey, thanks for watching our video. If our video was useful for you, don't forget to support us with a like, subscribe, and share. We hope to see you in good health in the next video.